Welcome to engineeringamp.com. This video shows how to create your own calculations to be stored in the cloud for later use. In the menu bar, click Calculations. In the drop-down, click Calculations. This page shows all calculations available to the current user. This includes those created by you, those created by others, which are shared with you, and those with privacy set to public. To create a new calculation, click the Add Calculation button. The hidden checkbox determines if this calculation will be visible by other calculations. We will explain this functionality in more details later. Leave it unchecked for now. There are three types of entries: an equation, constant, and variable. If you want to calculate a value of mathematical formula, select Equation. To enter a value of a constant, which can be used in many other calculations, select Constant. If you want to enter a variable, which can be used in many other calculations, select Variable. For this example, we will select Equation. The Discipline field allows user to filter calculations by discipline. For this example, we will select Mechanical. Enter name and description of the calculation. Enter meaningful values that will allow you to recognize this calculation, among many others you may create later. For this example, we will calculate the volume of a cylinder. The Input Formatting section describes the rules to be followed when entering data to allow accurate rendering of the mathematical symbols in the equations. Entering variables. The variables entered here will be applicable for this equation only. If we need to include a variable which value is calculated using another equation, we do not enter it as a variable here. When an equation is calculated, the platform will first look for values specified for each variable symbol in the equation itself. If they are not found, the platform will search for equations which calculate the value of the variable symbol. The calculation marked as hidden will be excluded from the search. A calculation will be marked as hidden if the checkbox at the beginning of the page is checked. For this example, we will enter two variables: the base area and the height of the cylinder. Each variable has four fields: label, symbol, value, and units. The label field describes the variable. It can be a name or a short description. The symbol field is the symbol of the variable to be entered in the equation. The value field is the value of the variable. The units field is the units of the variable. Currently, we can enter up to 10 variables per equation. Once all variables are entered, scroll down to the Results section of the page. The Result Name field describes the result. It can be a name or a short description. The Symbol field is the symbol of the result. We can use the result of one equation as an input in another. This is why the user is not allowed to have two equations with the same result symbol. The formula field is where we enter the mathematical formula using variable symbols entered above. In this example, we will use both variables for the area and the height of the cylinder we entered earlier. The units field is the units of the result. The calculation details field is where we can enter information about this calculation. This can include assumptions, specific conditions, information about certain values used in the calculation, and justification of their use. The text here can be formatted using the toolbars above. The calculation admin is the user who will have access to edit the calculation and determine its privacy status. By default, it is the current user, but it can be changed to someone else. The access field determines the privacy status of the calculation. Private is when only the user selected as the calculation admin will be able to see it. Shared is when the calculation will be visible to users and user groups it has been shared with. These users will be able to use the calculation, but not able to change it. Public is when the calculation is available to everyone on the internet. In this example, we will leave the default selection as private. Click the Add button to save the calculation.
Using calculations. Let's say we want to calculate the volume of a cylinder using the calculation we created earlier. Click on the cylinder volume calculation. This calculation is a standalone as it does not require input from other calculations. Here you can see the input required for this calculation, the equation itself, and the result units. If this calculation is managed by you, the edit and delete buttons will be visible. To run the calculation, click the calculation button. This is the calculation page. Enter the values of the variables that you want to use and click the calculate button. The result will be shown at the bottom of the page. Click the Save Data button if you want to save the result.